It's Amanchu. Welcome back to Minecraft Bedrock or Java, where I play through both versions of the game and compare them. I am back here in Skyblock in the Java Edition world, and I'm going to be focused mostly on Java Edition today because this particular Skyblock map has its own special data pack which gives different drops for some of the mobs to make some resources renewable that wouldn't otherwise be possible. That's why last time I made a drown farm, because in this map drown drop clay, and also husks drop sand. So I want to make a farm today in Java Edition Skyblock where I can produce sand renewably by getting husks to spawn. Husks are a type of zombie that spawns in deserts, so I need to make this farm in a desert biome, obviously. And I'm going to base the farm design on the general purpose mob farm that I made in my previous series in Java Edition, except I'm going to make the platform out of scaffolding instead of solid blocks. And the reason for that is husks will only spawn on blocks that are exposed to skylight, and scaffolding doesn't block skylight. So I'm kind of running out of scaffolding here, but you get the concept of what this is going to be like. And I can make multiple levels of these platforms, one on top of the other, and the scaffolding won't block access to the sky, so all of the platforms will be spawnable space for husks. It's going to be a general purpose mob farm. It'll have all kinds of mobs spawning on it, but instead of zombies, I'm mostly going to get husks. And I'll put a water bucket in this dispenser. The redstone behind the timing of these dispensers putting out water and washing all the mobs off, it's going to use quasi-connectivity, which is a mechanic exclusive to Java Edition. Obviously, in Bedrock Edition, mobs don't spawn on top of scaffolding like they do in Java Edition. But also, in Bedrock Edition, husks will spawn underground, unlike in Java Edition. So I'd have to build this differently if I was going to do it in Bedrock Edition. I'm not going to. There's not much point to it, because I'm not going to be able to get sand from husks in Bedrock Edition. Let's see what else. Oh, I don't know if I just said this already, but the timing of these dispensers has to be in sync. All of the levels have to dispense water and flood at the same time, because water will block access to the sky and make any platforms underneath a flooded platform not spawnable for husks. Okay, I think that covers the gist of how this farm is going to work. Now let me go and build it in a time lapse. All right, it's done and it's working, and I am getting sand from Husk. Now, a couple of things that happened while I was building this. I had some issues with creepers. Didn't kill me, but at one point a creeper exploded and managed to destroy my box, my shulker box full of redstone materials. Not a big deal. I pretty much replaced all of it really quickly, but it was annoying. Also, I initially was going to put tinted glass over the top of this for a roof, thinking that that would make it dark in the spawning chamber and I could get mobs all day and all night. But that doesn't work because the tinted glass blocks access to skylight and husks were not spawning. I had to get rid of the tinted glass, and I put down scaffolding to support the redstone repeaters for the timer circuit. I don't know if the repeaters block skylight, but the scaffolding does not. So it's now working right, but it will only work at night. And over the course of one night, I get, I don't know, somewhere between a half a stack and a full stack of sand, as well as a bunch of other stuff, obviously. And one other thing that happened, while I was building this platform up here that is flooded with water right now, a slime cube showed up. And slime cubes only spawn in a swamp at night, which obviously this isn't a swamp biome, or in a slime chunk. And so I figured out that I'd found a slime chunk. At least part of that platform was on a slime chunk. And down here, I built some platforms and tried to map out where it was. And this over here is the 16 by 16 chunk that is a slime chunk. And I've covered it over with carpets right now so nothing spawns on there. I don't want to get into the minutia details about slime chunks and how they work and how to find them and how to make a slime farm, because that's for a later time. I will make a slime farm out of this later on, but not today. And as the moon sets and the sun rises, this farm should stop working. There's still a few spiders that were kind of trying to climb up and down here, but pretty much it stopped working. I got 49 sand from that. That's pretty good. Among a bunch of other stuff. Like I say, this is a general purpose mob farm that also gives me husks and sand. So now that I have sand, I can start working on the other thing I wanted to do today, which is some of the advancements for this version of Skyblock. It has its own advancements, and one of those advancements is make every color of dye possible, and then have every color of wool, concrete, and terracotta. And I can do those things now. At least in Java Edition, I can do those things now. I'd like to do all of the advancements, or as many as I can, in Bedrock Edition as well, when that's possible. It's unfortunately not going to be possible. Let's start with every color of dye. Now, for a lot of the dyes, I can use flowers, and one way to get flowers is to bone meal the grass, and it will give me some flowers. Occasionally. Sometimes it just gives me grass. There we go. A nice variety of colors. Now, if I was going to do this in Bedrock Edition, I could actually bone meal this flower, and it would produce more flowers of that type. They would appear in adjacent grass blocks. I can't do that in Java Edition, though. The only flowers I can bone meal in Java Edition are the too tall versions, such as like sunflowers. If you bone meal those, it'll drop more of that flower type as entities. But anyway, I got a few different flowers, and these different flowers can produce different colors of dye. Like that gives me gray dye, red dye for the poppies, yellow dye from the dandelions. Let me go through the list of colors. I already have a bunch of flowers and materials to make dyes with in here. Let's see. Let's start with white dye. That's very simple. Bone meal gives me white dye. I don't know if there's anything else that gives me white dye, but bone meal is pretty darn easy to come by. Let's see. Light gray. Light gray I can make two ways. I can make it by combining black dye and white dye. I believe this flower also gives me light gray dye. Okay, black and gray dye. So for black dye, I need to use ink sacks, and ink sacks will give me black dye. And then I can make gray dye by combining black and white. That gives me white, black, light gray, and gray. Brown dye, I'm pretty sure there's only one way to get brown dye. And that's from cocoa beans. I convert that to brown dye. I already have some in here. Let's see, after brown, I need red dye. I have a bunch of red dye already. I can make red dye from poppies. And poppies, I have lots of those from the iron farm. Although a lot of these poppies I'm putting them into the composter because I can compost them and make bone meal with them. Alright, then there's yellow dye. What do oxys give me? What color do oxys give me? Oh, light gray. Okay, that's another source of light gray dye. Anyway, dandelions for yellow dye. And then orange requires combining red and yellow. Green dye I get by smelting cactus. So I smelt that. It gives me green dye. And I think I already smelted a bunch of cactus in here. Lime dye, I can get lime dye by smelting sea pickles, but I haven't been really messing around with harvesting a lot of sea pickles. But I can also get lime dye by combining green and white dye. Okay, now I need to make blue dye. I believe cornfowl gives me blue dye. I already have some. But you can also get blue dye by using lapis. So lapis gives me blue dye. Cornflowers will give me blue dye. And then I combine green and blue dye to get cyan. Light blue is simply blue and white. Purple, I believe that's red and blue. I get some more white dye because I need to make pink. That's red and white. That's 15 colors. What am I missing? Magenta. Purple and pink. So I combine purple and pink, and that will give me magenta. And I now have every color. There we go. Okay, and in fact I have at least 4 of every color, which is good. Because now I can use that dye to make the different colors of wool. Now, in order to dye wool, it has to be white wool in Java Edition. In Bedrock Edition, I can combine any color wool with a dye and change it to the color of the dye. In Java Edition, I have to use white wool. But I can get white wool from string. And I think I have a bunch more white wool that I've acquired pretty much the same way by using all the string that I have from various farms. Okay, now it's a simple matter to get all the colors of wool. If I wanted a large amount of wool of any particular color, this isn't the way to do it. The way to actually do it would be to dye a sheep and then shear the sheep. But just for the purposes of saying I've accomplished this advancement and I've gotten one of every color wool. Well, I guess I don't need to dye the white wool white. I already have that. There we go. 16 colors of wool. Beautiful. Where did I put it? Here we go. So I've got some clay. I get clay from clay balls. I can smelt the clay in a furnace. And that converts it to terracotta. It gives me terracotta. I've already collected a lot of terracotta. Get a bunch of that. And for the terracotta, I dye it 8 pieces at a time. With 1 dye and 8 pieces of terracotta give me 8 colored terracotta. So I needed a lot of terracotta to begin with to make all these colors. Like 2 stacks of it. This is something that'd be very tricky to do in Bedrock Edition. I'm not going to say impossible in the Bedrock Edition version of Skyblock, but very tricky. There's a very small amount of terracotta that I'd start with from the Mesa Island, but since I need 8 terracotta to dye each color, it's not nearly enough from that Mesa Island. I can get colored terracotta from stonemasons, and each stonemason would sell 1 single color of terracotta at random. In order to get stonemasons that would sell me all of the colors would require an army of stonemasons. And that's just not realistic. Alright, 16 colors of terracotta. Now the last part is the concrete. Okay, let's see if I can remember how this recipe goes. I need 4 gravel and 4 sand combined with 1 dye will make me 8 concrete powder of that color. Okay, I'm going to assume that doesn't give me the advancement. I most likely need to turn the concrete powder into concrete. And just pour water on it all. It turns it all into concrete. Okay, now just mine it. That should give me all of the colors of concrete. Taste the rainbow! Look at that! And there you have it. All 16 dyes, all 16 colors of wool, all 16 colors of terracotta, and all 16 colors of concrete. Now the concrete I could probably do in Bedrock Edition because I can buy sand from the Wandering Trader, and I've been doing that. I've been buying sand from the Wandering Trader. Usually when they sell sand, they'll sell about a stack of it. But I'm not doing this in Bedrock Edition today, not doing any of it, because I can't. The thing that's stopping me is I don't have any black dye in Bedrock Edition, and I don't see an easy way to get it. In the Java Edition world, I found an ocean biome and managed to get squid from that, and squid obviously drop the ink sacs that you use to make black ink. I have no way to find a river or ocean biome in Bedrock Edition. I don't have a debug screen that I can use to tell me what biome I'm in. I don't even know if there is such a biome in the Bedrock Edition Skyblock. Now, in theory, the Wandering Trader can sell ink sacs, but I haven't had any luck with the Wandering Trader yet in Bedrock Edition. The only other way I know of to get black dye is from wither roses. It may come to that sometime. I may someday fight the wither, but I'm not there yet. So I just can't get black dye, and without black dye, I also can't get gray. All of the other 14 colors I can do in Bedrock Edition right now, but I can't do black and I can't do gray. It's just one of those things that's gonna come up more and more often now where it's impractical or impossible to do the advancements I'm doing in Java Edition also in Bedrock Edition. And I think what I'm going to tackle next time is going to be something that is also unique to Java Edition. There is one last thing I wanted to look at today. If I can remember where to find it, there was a pillager outpost somewhere. I can't remember where it is. And I want to check that out. I have a hunch that there might be something of interest in that pillager outpost. But I'm not exactly sure. Now I can't remember what it was. I thought it was off the edge of one of these islands, but I can't remember which one. There it is. Okay, there it is. Now that I can fly, this is a lot easier. There's typically in these outposts a chest in the top platform, and I'm curious to see what's in that chest, if anything. See if I can make it. Yeah, there is a chest there. Oh, there's also a guy there. Oh god. This guy's a problem. I don't want to kill him. Well, I killed him. Oh, that's wonderful. I did not want ill omen. I did not want to have that happen today. That's not what I came here for. But, in for a penny, in for a pound, right? That's it, right? Are there more? There's another level down here. Oh, that's it. However, I have Bad Omen 3 now. Do I want to start a raid? I'm thinking. What's in this chest? Tell me something good. It's not. It's totally not. I was hoping I'd find something cool in that chest. I didn't find something cool. And now I have a dilemma. I have Bad Omen 3. Do I really want to start a raid? Let me think about that. And if I do start a raid, I may have no choice but to start a raid. If I do, I'll try that next time. If you made it this far in this video, you probably like what you saw, so click on the like button. If you want to see, do I actually start a raid? Subscribe to the channel, and you'll know when I upload the next video. Hanuman chooses Minecraft, Java versus Bedrock.